it's so funny because the Lord actually started taking me back specifically when it came to this word about prophetic marriages. And um, this is not, I'm going to be very honest with you guys, this is not necessarily a word that I love speaking on, only because of the sensitivity of the word, only because it's also, this whole kingdom marriages, it's very much a buzzword as well. But I felt the Lord very strongly asking me to take a stance. What we have come to see, especially in our communities, right, is that people have somehow went out to survey the land and came back with bad reports, right? We have a whole lot of prophetic voices that have went out, and we jumped on this bandwagon, or we jumped on um, this buzzword. And the moment we started to see that things are not actually looking the way we thought it would look like, a lot of people began to retract. So it actually looked like we had a whole lot of spies that came back with bad reports. So the Lord began to challenge me, guys. And I was actually speaking to Bonolo about this yesterday morning. The Lord actually began to challenge me and ask me as Ubitsapo, now that I have surveyed the land, what shall my report be? So today I'm pretty much here to give you guys a prophetic on-time report. After I have surveyed the land, what my report is. And it's very simple. It is very, very simple. And I pray that you catch it. In fact, what I really wanted to say before I just read off the notes that the Lord gave me, what I really wanted to say is that this prophetic word is for those that are willing to grow into the bigness of it. I don't like saying this word is for some and this word is not for others, because I genuinely believe that if you hear a prophetic word, if it resonates with you, by all means grab onto it. I am a believer of that. But I also feel strongly led to say that this is a word for those who are willing to grow into the bigness of this word. So this is very simple. This is my report after I have surveyed the land. There are giants, number one, and these giants are huge, right? These giants are very, very big. But guess what? The land in which I have passed is an exceedingly good land. The Lord will delight in us, and he will bring us into this land, and he will give it to us. This is a land which flows with milk and honey. This is a land that flows with milk and honey. Only do not rebel against the Lord. Do not fear the people of the land, for they will be our prey. Their protection has been removed from them, and the Lord is with us. Once again, do not fear those giants. So let us go up at once. And this is why I'm so excited, Bonolo, that you asked me to share after Romania. Let us go up at once. Let us move at once and take possession of this land, for we will conquer. Too many of us as prophetic voices, and I know I might be speaking to a very select few of us on this call, but too many of us have heard the voice of the Lord, have seen and came back with bad reports. But I'm here to change the narrative. We will certainly conquer. This is our land. The land of prophetic marriage is our land. I hear the Lord claiming defeat over every giant that has stood in the way of you receiving the land that he has set before you. There is a quickness and a spontaneity and urgency that will soon engulf you. You will no longer hear the words soon to come. Instead, the Lord is saying right here, right now. Once again, there is a quickness that has come, and with this quickness, there is an urgency to adapt and move. Some are believing and hoping for specific timelines, and the Lord is saying that is too long. Some of you are hoping that the Lord performs it in a specific timeline, but the Lord is actually here to say to you, that is too long. He wants to defy your wisdom and defy your logic. He is calling you to possess the land right now and not later. Possess the land now in boldness and in faith. There are testimonies brewing. And guys, we've heard this before, but there is a special type of wind when the Lord repeats what he has said before. There are testimonies brewing of weddings taking place in days and weeks. I'm going to say that again. There are testimonies brewing of weddings taking place in days and weeks. Are you willing to grow into the bigness of that word? The Lord is calling some to spontaneous pop-up marriages and engagements. The Lord is calling some to spontaneous pop-up marriages and engagements. Some are called to marry those they barely know. Some are called to meet and marry. Please believe me, the Lord requires those who are willing to adjust and move on their feet. I hear him saying, don't say 4 months and then comes the harvest. A flexibility is needed right now, an ability to move on command and believe as soon as the word is released. Prepare your provisions, for within 3 days you are to cross the river Jordan, to go in and take possession of the land. The question is, will you go? That is the question. It's like what Busi said to me on Saturday. The promise of marriage is already here. For some of you, the Lord is saying it's staring you right in the face. The question is, will you go? Courage is needed. Boldness is needed. Confidence is needed in the face of this quickness. And let me tell you why. For many, it will be love at first sight. For many, it will be love out of the blue. For some, it will be a sudden knowing. And for many of us, it will be a small window of opportunity that requires a quick discerning. For some of us, it will be a small window of opportunity that requires a quick discerning, like the preparedness of Ruth colliding with the swiftness of Boaz, like Adam being awakened to the bone of his bone and the flesh of his flesh, like Joseph quickly being corrected and called to cling to Mary, like Rebecca standing in the doorway with her mind already made up, suddenly asked if she is willing to go. The Lord is looking for those who are fast on their feet in this time. This is not a word for all of us. And I'm sorry. It is not a word for all of us. The Lord is looking for those who are fast on their feet and have received the revelation of what he's doing in this time concerning these prophetic marriages. And that is why there were only 2 spies that came back with a good report. Many are sent out, but only 2 came back with a good report. I hear the Lord asking, would you delay such a matter? Don't delay such a matter. Don't limit or restrict him. There are quick, sudden changes and challenges that will require quick, sudden responses. Has he not commanded you to be courageous? It's a quickening. There is a quickening as you come together. And this quickness is needed, for the crossing is imminent. The quickness is needed, for the crossing is imminent. There is a propelling of love stories that will only take days and weeks. The Lord is saying to someone, speed is your portion. A spontaneous eruption is upon you. Do not fight it. Remember, many are called, but not all are called to cross over with such swiftness. Do you know who you are? Many are called, but not all are called to cross over with such swiftness. Do you know who you are? This is unfamiliar territory, but trust in my character and heart for you. My blessings maketh rich and addeth no sorrow, but you might have to do this afraid. There will be peace, but you just might have to do this afraid. The Lord is calling you to quickly adapt. He needs you to adapt, because this ability to adapt will not only bring you into this promise, but will also help you sustain it. For the Lord is calling some of you into a life of constant movement. Right? So it's not like you are moving into your marriage and you are still. This is a life of constant movement, constant quickness, constant adapting. The Lord is calling some of you to a life of an outcast with your spouse, a life of an outlier, a life of a missionary. You and your spouse will find yourselves at homes in many cities, having families from different nations. Many will be called your children, and many will claim you as their own. So I repeat, the land in which I have passed is an exceedingly good land. The Lord will delight in us, and he will bring us into this land and give it to us. This is a land which flows with milk and honey. The question is simple: will you go? Amen.